So on day number 7 now of my 12-week challenge after a day off yesterday to contemplate and rest. And a couple of things have come up. One is I find myself negotiating with myself. I mean, having an absolute conversation in my head. One of the things that were coming up was, well, do I do a Sunday live? Do I start on a Sunday or do I start on a Monday? Last week I started on a Sunday, but maybe I should start on a Monday this week and basically do just Monday to Friday and not Sunday to Friday. And I find this kind of negotiating, trying to do a deal with myself to get some time off. And the interesting thing is, of course, that nobody's asking me to do this. It's just me putting pressure on myself. And so I decided, of course, to do it on a Sunday. That's why I'm here. But I find that process really interesting, of that kind of self-negotiation. Another couple of things I found is that I was doing also the opposite, thinking, you know what, I'm actually beginning to enjoy this a little bit, so maybe I can actually do more with this than just come on and explain myself every day. Maybe I can actually do kind of a mini course with this. And so I came to the conclusion that it's really important that it's a 12-week challenge and not just a 1 week or 2 week challenge, because I'm curious to find out actually what kind of transformations will take place over 3 months. I also find that what I want to really do this week is to kind of discover more about my values and the motivation of the underlying reasons why I want to do this. And what values are not moral values in this case. It's not values that are coming from an external source like my parents or family or the neighborhood I live in or the society that I live in, but rather my intrinsic motivations for meaning and purpose. What is important to me? What matters to me about being a human being, being a person in this world? How do I want to express those values? How do I want to behave in the service and according to those values? In order to do that, I've got to dig a little bit deeper and understand what these values are. But just for example, at the moment, I can say that one of my values is living a life creatively. And part of doing these videos, these lives, these podcasts and blogs is to create something, is to actually bring some of what's inside me out into the open and express myself creatively. Another one of my values is being adventurous. Now, I'm not climbing the Himalayas or jumping out and skydiving or doing, coming across the Sahara Desert, but my sense of adventure is kind of leaning into the unknown, leaning into the uncertain. Of course, I get a certain excitement out of it, but there's also a certain apprehension about moving in places where I've not done before. Now, of course, I've done these lives for many years now, but what I haven't done is expose myself in such an emotional and psychological way. And so that in itself is a little bit of the unknown for me. And although I've been getting really good feedback and definitely encouragement about doing these, of course there's a certain trepidation in leaving yourself so vulnerable. So what I want to do this week is explore my values, explore what matters to me, explore what's important to me and why I'm using, what the function is of using these daily broadcasts in order to express these issues of importance and what matters to me. I'm also finding that life gets in the way. Right? So there's a lot of preparation for doing these lives, much more than, you think about. But apart from anything else, things happen and they get in the way and I want to be doing something, but I've got to do this. And, well, somebody's invited me to do something else. And, it's just not just that. It's when I'm setting it up. This goes wrong. That goes wrong. there's a lot of things happening around just doing a few minutes of live broadcast. And then, of course, I have promised myself that I want to turn it into a blog, a written blog, and a podcast. And so even though the podcasts I'm actually keeping up with, the written side seems to be falling behind a little bit. And of course, that brings on that feeling of disappointment. And now I've got to see how I exist with also having a sense of disappointment. Anyway, I'm curious to find out how this week rolls out, how I actually manage to do these lives and cope with the rest of my life as well. In any case, thank you for watching and listening and reading if you are, and I'll see you tomorrow.